Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I got one of these, but it doesn't work with YouTube. Does yours?
Yeah.
It does. How can we do that? Is there anything special you need to do?
So I first hit this, and then the next option says like go live.
Yeah.
And it's
So
got
you gotta go.
Facebook, YouTube, and RTMP.
Yeah.
I use RTMP, and I put in the URL and the streaming key from YouTube, and then it sends it to YouTube. They just made an update recently. I used to just go to YouTube. Now I don't use that.
Yeah,
I use
it's not working for me. And I'm
yeah,
just like,
yeah. So if you do the RTMP and put the same info in, it will work.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, no problem. It's higher than usual. Oh, you can hold it. Set two. Okay, they're the same. Yeah. All right. We're at the dreaded Pagel Arena in Minnetonka, Minnesota, for a face-off between the Edina 15UA green team and the Minnetonka 15UA black team. No, blue team. Blue team. They are dressed in the white jerseys. We've got our full green going for our warm-up. It looks like we've got Lex in goal tonight. We got about one more minute before we'll actually drop the puck here. We've got at least one Minnetonka skater wearing a helmet in the bench. It looks like we've got Coach Haran and Coach Jungles behind the bench. Looks like we've got a full squad with the exception of Layden Craigness, who I think gave it a run yesterday but decided against getting dressed for tonight. I think that's a good decision. What she's dealing with is a little minor injury to her knee, a strain. Before games count, there's no need for Layden Craigness to try to gut it out in meaningless games. So at least from this fan's perspective, we ought to give Layden weeks, if needed, to get back. I'd rather have her back 100% for the remainder of this year and the beginning of next year than have any longer-term issue. I think the last time we played Tonka Blue, it ended, I thought it was running time. It was something close to that. It wasn't a great contest. This is the second of their two teams. Looks like we got one hard lap to go. And we'll circle up around our net, I assume, for the traditional Let's Go Hornets cheer. 15 minutes on the clock. They've got a number of banners hanging here. Unlike the Edina Hornets, If you look in our south rink, you'll see a lot of banners as well. Each one of ours is a state championship banner. In this particular facility for the Minnetonka Skippers, they list everything with a banner from third place to a semifinalist run, runner up, and if you look closely, there's even banners for section champions, which is something that Edina does not do, mostly because we would not have space if we also had section champions and anything other than champions hanging from our rafters. So I think they are the second most state champions. Um, the Skippers are, but they've got about 18, and we've got about 90. It looks like Mallory's on the draw, Boylan and Newcomb out there on the forward side, Levy and Sweets are on the backside. Newcomb works that up, near side boards. It's back to Levy now. Levy retreats into our zone, over to Sweetser. Sweetser moves up to Boylan. Boylan chips it up to Mallory. Mallory works around one. Hannah's with her. Clean entry. Hannah, Hannah on the back door, almost there. Hannah working behind her net. Flings it around to the far side. Here comes the Skippers. They try to get that out. Boylan gets a stick on that. Back to Sweetser. Sweetser to Levy. Levy looks, thinks better of it. Back to Sweetser. Sweetser over to Hannah. Hannah sees Boylan. Boylan. That one jumps off of her stick. Almost gets out of the zone. That one gets worked in down low. Sweetser. Amy dialing. Ballard over to Sauter. Sauter into the zone. Zipping around a few. Tries to chip that backhand. They get a stick on that thing. We have yet to get our first shot, but we've had most of the possession here. Sauter again near the blue line. Dangles around. That one gets out. Amy. Amy's got it in the neutral zone. Amy. Over to Helfrich. Helfrich up to Ballard. Ballard chips that one in, but not all the way in. Now she gives chase. Ballard in the corner. Tries to load up the center. Just missed on the connection there. Cohen retrieves from the blue line. Tries to get it down low. That they fling out of the zone. That could be an icing if it makes it all the way down. Mallory's back on the ice here. Mallory from behind our net. Works out. Witherspoon. Witherspoon does a good job reversing some of the flow. Gives herself an opening. Around the outside. Looks to load up the center of the net. Nothing there. They got a good skate on that as a defensive play to keep that from a good centering pass by Olive Witherspoon. Here we come back. It's a 2-1. Good job getting a skate on that. Amy there. Amy's got a little break. Here we go. Amy zooms into the zone. Dangles around one. Tries to lead for Nedry. Not quite there. Amy backing into our own zone. The Skippers go for almost a full-scale change. Not quite. Amy achieves the red line, gets tripped up. You got Hannah, Boylan, Sauter out there now. Out to the point. Levy works it back down low. That gets zinged all the way around. Amy activates. Tries to chip that thing. Try to keep it in. It's not going to be an icing. Levy traces back into our zone. Gathers. Levy dangles around one. Looks. Works it up to Sauter. Sauter into the zone. Sauter sees Boylan. Boylan tries. Goalie. Nice save. Nice pass, Sauter. Over to Boylan again. That one's still loose, but they blow the whistle, and they shove someone after the whistle. We're going to be all right. Full change for the forwards. Levy and Chapman on the backside. Mallory, Cohen, and Ballard on the front side. Cohen near side boards. 11:40 left in this. Ballard works around, out to Chapman. Chapman fires just over the net. Happy birthday to Brooke and Skylar Chapman, the younger sisters of Lucy Chapman, number 11. They are part of our 12UA team, and it was their birthday today. I think they won a game, then had to go play soccer, and then are here watching again. Mallory on the draw. Ballard works it down low. Mallory. Battles in the corner. Zips it over to Cohen. Cohen dangles. Cohen out to Chapman. Chapman tries to get that one off. They get a stick on that. Mallory chips that over. That's out the boards. Chapman retreats over to Levy. Levy gets to that red line. Works in. Dangles around a few. Sauter's out there trying to create something. Nedry now working across. Nedry dangles around. Moves over to Levy. Levy works that down low to Sauter. Here comes Witherspoon out of the corner. Tries to chip that towards the net. Runs into some traffic. Tonka ices that thing, trying to relieve some pressure. We'll have an offensive zone face-off for us. Sauter, Witherspoon, Nedry on the front side. Amy and Sweetser on the back. 10:24 in the first period. Sauter quickly after that puck. Tonka comes up with it. Tonka maintains possession deep in their zone, looking for a breakout. Sauter jumps all over that. Good job creating pressure. Fires. Good save by their goalie. Knocked aside. Again, Tonka tries to work this thing out. Not quite out of the zone. No, it is out of the zone. We got a battle on the blue. That one pops over to Sauter. Sauter basically jumps on that in stride, walks around multiple people. Another good save. Goalie. That's going to be nice. I think we were trying to pass it over across Sauter to Boylan. They got a stick on it. Otherwise, Nora would have walked in pretty much all alone. Good eyes. Okay. Amy and Sweetser on the backside. Boylan, Mallory, Newcomb on the front. Mallory on the draw. It's fought over to the boards. Little battle going on. Mallory tries to jump out of that pile with that. Boylan gives chase. It's over to Newcomb. Newcomb fires. Just misses. Mallory in the corner. Wow, they're chasing a lot. Mal, they just barely get a stick on that. That's not going to be icing. Mallory chases that one all the way back. Gathers behind her own net. Up to Newcomb. Newcomb, they get a stick on that at the point. Doesn't quite get worked out. We got three players real close to it. We'll try to work that over. Lex chips that away. Up to Boylan. Boylan gathers. Over to Newcomb. Newcomb chases it down. And they enter the zone. They zing it across the ice. Just throwing it if they can. Sweetser back into our own zone. Ooh, a little bit of traffic there. Boylan grabs that one. Tries to chip it out. Again, it's in people's skates. Boylan just chips that out. Good idea. No ice because that was a light chip just to relieve the pressure and get a change. Sauter, Ballard, Cohen now trying to attack the net. They can come up with that. Back to Chapman, neutral zone. Chapman fans a little on that one. Here comes Tonka with a chance. Sauter working out. Thinks better of it around the neutral zone. Gets worked over to Helfrich. Helfrich works up this side. Helfrich sees the lane, keeps going. She's in almost on the goalie, flings just high. There goes Cohen, going to work on the far side. Here we go, Cohen comes out of the corner, works it out. Helfrich fires. Sauter comes up with that one again. Sauter sees Chapman on the far side. Chapman thinks better than throwing it in traffic. Works it down to Cohen. Cohen's got two skippers on her. Cohen comes up with it nevertheless. Cohen out to Sauter. Sauter fires. Good save, goalie. Lots of traffic in front. They must have watched the tape from the Duluth game, and they're trying to use all five skaters as additional shot blockers because they are collapsing around the net. And when they get an opportunity, they just ice it. I think this is our fourth ice of the game, if I remember correctly. In comes Keith Ballard, in from the cold. Looks like he is warming himself up. The heaters are on here at Bagel. They spare no expense in Tonka. Mallory on the draw with Witherspoon and Nedry. Levy and Sweetser on the backside. Tonka achieves that red line, gets that thing deep. Levy behind our net to retrieve. Levy up to Witherspoon. Tonka tries to come up with that. Levy gathers. Circles. Looks it up to Witherspoon. Witherspoon fights through. Gets that one through. Witherspoon and Nedry. Mallet as the trailer. Witherspoon fires that. Nedry got a little tip on it. Tonka comes up with the rebound. Levy chips it back towards our offensive zone. Levy, sensing an opportunity with the Tonka change, thinks better of it. Long cross-ice pass. Sauter pulls that one out of the pile. Sees a lane. They're trying to complete the rest of her chain. Sauter kind of all alone. It's a 5-on-1. Dangles around almost everybody. Tonka comes back this way. Hannah's got that. Hannah fights for that one. Hannah keeps charging at that. That one gets cleared out of the zone. Amy. Over to Helfrich. Helfrich up to Boylan. Boylan dangles around one. That one gets loose. It's now down low. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in this first frame. Still a 0-0 game. Up to our point. They try to get it out. Amy keeps that thing in. Oh, it just barely gets out of there. They get to the red line. They dump that thing down. Again, there's a lot more ice carved up in our offensive zone. But here comes Helfrich with speed. Helfrich up to Boylan. Boylan kind of in alone. Doing the Sauter move. 5-on-1. They clear that one out to our neutral zone. We get a change. So now we got Mallory, Ballard, Cohen out there. Chapman and Lou. Lou tried to work that thing in. It's going to be another icing. I should have been keeping track because I think that's icing number 5. They are collapsing around the net and chipping it out as much as they possibly can. Mallory on the draw with Cohen and Ballard. Cohen comes up with that one. Walks, fires. Oh, it just sailed on her. Again, Mallory tries to load her up in front of the net. There's Cohen in the corner. Cohen dancing around, looking for an opportunity. Works it down low, was looking for the against the flow pass. Great idea. Mallory in the corner, out to Cohen. Cohen dangling around. We're getting some ozone pressure now built up here. That's kind of what we need. Mallory over to Chapman. Chapman tries to fire. It's in her skates. Here comes Tonka. Chapman, great job back checking. Ballard up to Cohen. Cohen leaves for Levy. Levy enters the zone. Dances around, leaves for Ballard. Ballard behind our net. Nedry and Sauter now have completed the change. It's out to Amy at the point. Long shot. That one gets... She stops that with her shoulder. 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. The heaters are still on here on a cold, cold night in Minnetonka, Minnesota. They're not keeping track of shots on the scoreboard, but it's pretty uneven so far. Sauter on the draw, wins it over to Nedry. Nedry works it out to the point. Amy walks, fires, long shot, knocked aside with a blocker. Witherspoon senses an opportunity, walks the seam. Out to the point. Amy now, from the point. That gets worked down low. Nedry, giving chase. Nedry from behind the net, tries to work out again. Ooh, saw Witherspoon in the center, just didn't quite connect. Amy works it back down low. Sauter, behind our net, working around. Little stick work there. Witherspoon's there to help. Witherspoon fights for it. Sweetser pulls that off the boards. That is not enough sides. Later, I'll catch that official and explain that if it stays on the blue line, it's not offsides. So that's right. We'll take a change because now we got Mallory, Newcomb, Boylan, Sweetser, and Amy out there. Mallory wins that one back to Amy. Amy flings it down low. We go to work. Tonka back to retrieve. Tonka tries to clear that thing out. Sweetser keeping it tight. Great job, Mal, jumping on that puck from behind. Out to Sweetser at the point. That one just barely squirts by. It's not going to be an icing. Amy, all the way back in our zone. Works up the sideboards to Newcomb. Newcomb. Amy again's got it. Loses an edge in the corner. Amy again's got it. Works it over to Sweetser. Sweetser over to Boylan. Boylan just doesn't quite get the handle on that one. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in this first frame. You got Ballard, Sauter, Cohen, Helfrich over to Chapman. Helfrich again. Tries to work out of the zone. Gets knocked down. Sauter tries to work it up to Cohen. Cohen at the red line. Escapes from some pressure. Tries to work in. Sauter. Cohen. Winding behind the net. Winding around. Works it back down to Ballard. Ballard sees some opportunity behind the net. Works it out to the point. Chapman. Long shot from the point. That one just misses wide. Helfrich races over to try to keep that thing in. She does. Cohen flings it down low. Tonka comes up with that again. Desperation, tossing it out of the zone. Helfrich back to Chapman. Chapman off the boards. Sauter comes up with that loose puck. Sauter's got another opportunity here, folks. Wheels. Sees Witherspoon breaking in. Witherspoon tries to dangle around one. They get a stick on that. Just barely get it out. Sweetser now. Sweetser over to Witherspoon. Witherspoon swirls. Makes a move around. Witherspoon loads up Mal. No goal. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in this. That one barely squirts out of our zone. Levy gets chased back. Here come the Edina Hornets. If he gets that in, works it around the zone. Here comes Tonka out of their zone. Woo, that kid looks like she might be burnt out. Yep, she gets it down low. Goes for a change herself. About 35 seconds remaining in this period. Witherspoon grabs that off the boards. She's trying to head down the ice. She's got just enough gas to get that thing down low. 25 seconds remaining. Battle down low. I think that's Nedry fighting for the puck there, with Mal helping out and Newcomb. Mal tries to get through. It's out to Sweetser. Long shot. Goalie knocks that aside. 10 seconds remain. It's a 0-0 game here. Get to the red line and they dump it in again. That's it for the first frame. It's a 0-0 game after one period. All right, the Tonka blue team's got to be feeling pretty good, holding the Edina Hornets to no goals in the first period. A 0-0 game after one is about as good as you can hope for. It looks like we've got Steve Nelson making his way into the ring. Mallory, Ballard, Boylan start out this second period with Helfrich and Amy on the backside. Lex Autumn in goal. She's ready to go. There's a battle there right off the face-off. We thought we were going to try to drive that forward. Tonka comes up with that. Again, they're just trying to dump it. They have a dump and chase strategy. I think they're hoping to hold us to a single goal, and if they can, they may have an opportunity to have a shot at this thing. Their defender thinks better of just trying to chip that thing across to their partner. Ooh. Here's an opportunity for Tonka. Amy, back. Fights that one through. There we go. Mal over to Boylan. Boylan tries to chip that thing out. Little battle on the near side boards. That barely gets out of there. There we go. Helfrich jumps that pass. Good idea. She walks in. She's kind of all alone. Tries to get that thing going. Sauter and Newcomb are now out. Cohen's covering the point for Helfrich. Helfrich retreats out. Cohen activates. Quick pass in front by Newcomb, trying to set up Sauter. Near side boards here. Helfrich fires. That gets rung around the boards. Helfrich is having a good start to the second period. I don't think she likes the 0-0 nature of this game. Here comes Cohen out of the corner. Helfrich goes for a quick change. Cohen's looking for an opportunity. She's being left alone. Goalie makes a good save. Levy out at the point. Levy fires. That one gets knocked aside. Cohen works it over to Sauter. Sauter behind our net. Sauter getting some action from them. Ooh, good backdoor pass. Sauter saw Hannah hanging out on the back door. Tried to hook her up. Not quite there. Newcomb in the corner. Over to Cohen. Cohen's got a lean. Cohen walking in. Fires just over the top. That one sails all the way around. Amy gives chase. Keeps that thing in, luckily. It's down to Sauter now. Ballard jumps on the ice. Sauter, Cohen, and Ballard. There's a tip in front. There's a puck loose. Oh, he very quickly blows the whistle. I could see that puck from here. Seems hard to believe that the puck actually was not visible. You can probably see it on the video, too, as I'm watching. Okay, so Witherspoon, Ballard, Nedry, with Chapman and Levy on the backside. Looks like they're working on getting that goal set up properly. "12 minutes and 45 seconds left here. 9:13 p.m. It's a late game for these girls. Nedry works it around to Levy. Levy from the point. Levy zips it back down low. Witherspoon in the corner gets tangled up with the skipper. Skippers try to work that out. It's out to Levy. Levy tries to fire. That hits a shin pad. That one's at the blue. That comes out. Nedry tries to jump on that. Levy works it up the boards to Witherspoon. Witherspoon tries to come up with that. No dice. Little action there. Maybe offsides. That is a long... Nice job, Lex. Long shot on next. Net. Lex Autumn has maybe a better shot than some 12U's. Works that thing out of there. It's up the boards. Nedry fights through one, fights through another. Ballard's going for a quick change. It looks like Newcomb has jumped out. Witherspoon fighting through some traffic. Witherspoon keeps fighting. Watch the stick, kiddo. You're getting close to a penalty if you're not careful. That one battles out. Here comes Chapman. Chapman fires it into the bench. She says, I've had enough of this stuff, and bounced it off of the Devani's pizza and hot hoagie sign immediately behind Telejungles, Coach Jungles. Looks like they've decided to just use 5 skaters for the skippers. Boylan, Mallory, and Newcomb out there. Amy gets it. Tries to fire low. They get a stick on that thing. Newcomb battling again. Amy keeps that thing in. It's to Boylan. Boylan gets it, chips it down into the low zone. Mallory. Boylan tries to come up with that. She gets leveled. Out to Amy again. Amy chips it down. Boylan's back to pick that up. She gathers. Sees a bit of a lane. Works through it. Just misses the corner on that. Tries to load up Mal in front. Here come the skippers back again. 10:30 left in the second frame. Mallory over to Boylan. Boylan chips that forward. Sweetser gets that. We're in the neutral zone now, battling around. Ballard goes in. Mallory and Boylan go for a change. We got Sauter and Cohen jumping out. Cohen down in the corner. Battles around some. Fights through another one. There's Cohen. There's the icing. First one of this period. Took them a while to get to it, but 9:52 remaining in the second period. It's a 0-0 game here. It's probably one of my least favorite rinks for a variety of reasons. It could be all the blue and white. Sauter, Newcomb, Cohen on the draw. Or excuse me, Sauter on the draw. Sauter dances. Newcomb tries to load up the slot. Not quite there. More traffic by the skippers. Helfrich keeps that thing in. Bounces off a skate, though, and comes on out. Helfrich up the boards to Cohen. Cohen loses the handle on that one. Gains it back. Reaches that red. Tries to get it forward. It's right in front of us. They come up with that thing. Long shot. Lex knocks that aside. Chapman up to Cohen. Catches him in a change. There goes Sauter in all alone. Sauter fires. Goalie gloves that one. We got Witherspoon, Ballard, Nedry on the backside. Witherspoon wins that kind of back. Little hook there. I think it was the part where the kid fell over. It's McKay. She's a bigger kid. Probably didn't do it intentionally. Witherspoon. Mallory and Boylan jump out. Helfrich and Amy on the backside. Witherspoon gets tossed. Boylan comes in to take the draw. Goalie jumps on that one. All right. That took 4 seconds. We have 8 minutes and 59 seconds remaining. Mitchell drops that one. Helfrich wins that. We win that back to Helfrich. Helfrich fires. They try to clear. Oh, no. Oh, no. We ran into each other in front of our net. They get an opportunity to get that thing low. It's over to Helfrich. Helfrich bobbles it a bit. Works it up to Witherspoon. Witherspoon and Boylan work themselves around each other. Boylan in, kind of all alone. Fires, just misses. Mal, dangle. Good job. Let's set up. Didn't quite get set up on that one either. Here we go. Coming back again. That gets knocked all the way down. 8 minutes and 15 seconds left. You got a change happening? Oh, looks like we're just out of gas. Boylan goes for a change. Helfrich has got an opportunity now. Fires. Goalie catches that, no problem. 53 seconds remaining in the penalty. 7:55 remaining in the second period. It's a 0-0 game here. Sauter tries to win that one back. Cohen and Nedry out there now. Sauter works into the slot. Oh, they just barely jump on that. About 40 seconds remaining. Amy works the stick through that. Ballard grabs a hold of that one. Ballard walking up the ice. She's got a little bit of space. Thinks about it. Fires. Just misses. That missed wide. Here comes the Skippers again. Comes out of the zone. Amy. That one gets into our zone. Good job, Bally, getting her stick on that. You know, I think we could really use a refreshing resurface. There's a give and go. Goalie does a good job getting a stick on that. Still loose, or getting a block on that. Still loose. Sauter fights for that one, gets it out to Levy. Levy walks a little back down to Sauter. Sauter dangles around. Tries to work in. It's now 5-on-5 hockey. Newcomb battles. Skippers come up with that long shot, misses wide. Catching him in a change here if we take advantage of it. Amy up to Cohen. Cohen chips that thing forward. Nedry and Witherspoon jump out. You got Newcomb still out there too. That heads out to the red line. We get out of our zone. Good job. Levy works in. Levy working around. Looking for an opportunity. She heads to the corner. Flings that towards the center of ice. Sweetser. Long shot. Just cast aside. Levy again down low here on the near side. 6 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in this first frame. Ballard jumps on that pass. You know, Tonka's done a pretty good job in this game. We've had more of the opportunities. That's out to Sweetser at the point. Sweetser walks, fires. But so far, it's a 0-0 game with 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the second frame. Here come your Skippers. We get that out of the neutral zone. Witherspoon jumps on that. She's got a 3-on-1, dangles around one, fires. Oh, they got a shin pad right in the way. Nedry down low. Nedry looking for an outlet instead. Walks. Nothing there. Good job. Working it across. It bounced to Witherspoon. Witherspoon just tried to fire that thing at the goal. Didn't quite come up with it. Battling here on the near side boards. Witherspoon tries to get in the way there. She does. Newcomb. Here we go. They're trying to clear. Okay. There goes Mal. Pulls that one out of the pile. Mal walks. Ooh. Tries some fancy stuff. They just decide to fling that thing around. There goes Chapman activating. Getting it down to Boylan. Boylan tries to walk. Too much traffic. Newcomb tries to fire. Again, too much traffic. Newcomb fires again. Too much traffic. Helfrich fires again. That one got through. Couldn't quite get a tip, Boylan says. Boylan fights for possession on that one. Fights in the corner. Mallory comes out to help. We got the official yelling, move it, move it, move it. Chapman keeps that one in cleanly. Newcomb activates on the far side. They're looking to just clear this thing. They luckily get that to squirt out. 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Chapman off the boards to Boylan. Boylan jumps back on that one. Boylan sees Ballard along the far side. Ballard works that thing down low. Mallory and Boylan go for a change. Ballard is assisted now by Cohen and Sauter. Cohen throws her skates in the way of that one. Sauter chases down low. You got Helfrich and Amy on the backside. Ballard along the far side. Tonka's just fighting for every inch to get this thing out of the zone. We are working just as hard to try to get it into the net. And so far we have not had success. Great job by their goalie. Ballard down low. This gets worked around the far side. Amy chips that thing in with her backhand. Sauter in the slot. Sauter. Oh, that hits another skate. Newcomb's back on the ice now. That gets worked out to Helfrich. Helfrich in the neutral zone. Works it up to Sauter. Sauter sees a streaking Hannah Newcomb on the far side. Ooh, she just lost the handle. Hannah out to Helfrich. Helfrich at the point. Fires. Kept that one low. Good job. Again, they have an opportunity. Here we go. Cohen works it down to Sauter. Sauter lets it slide by. Newcomb gives chase. Nedry is now into the fight after Cohen went to the bench there. Amy out at the top of the boards. Sauter goes for a change. Witherspoon and Levy now jump out. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this one. Levy senses an opportunity. Thinks better of it when everyone gives chase. Dangles around. Now she's working in. Skate to tape. There she works it around. Ballard's now on the ice with Nedry and Witherspoon. Oh, here comes an opportunity for the Skippers. Luckily, they trip on the red line. Here comes Nedry. Nedry up to Ballard. Ballard works around one. Comes in on the near side boards. Tries to load up the slot. It's not quite there. Battle for the puck. Witherspoon comes up with that. This has been like a track meet. Even though we haven't had a lot of goals, it's just been a battle the whole game. Ballard chips that in down low. Ballard goes for a quick change. Nedry goes for a quick change. You now got Hannah and Boylan out there. That's off the glass. That's going to be an icing. Good. 1 minute and 42 seconds left. 102 ticks in the second period. It remains a 0-0 game. That one gets one back. But Newcomb jumps on that, works it out to the point. Levy gathers that one, fires. It bounces right off of Boylan's face. Try to keep those shots just a little bit lower. We iced that one. One minute and 20 seconds remaining in this second period. Sauter on the draw. Levy gathers, races behind our net. Tonka attacks. Gets it worked up the board to Ballard. Ballard tries to chip that one by. Cohen grabs that one. She's got a 2-on-2. Cohen works around. Almost had it there to Sauter. Sauter down low. He's got space off the back of the net there. It's out in front. Nothing doing. 38 seconds remain. Oh, that one's loose. 30 seconds. Oh, here goes it. 2-on-1. Good opportunity. They leave. Long shot from the side. Amy's there to knock that thing aside. Sauter comes up with that. Sauter working out of her zone. Dangling around everybody. Cross ice pass. Ballard tries to chip that thing in. 10 seconds remaining. It's going to be the end of the period. It's a 0-0 game after 2 periods of play. We'll see you back here in a bit. All right, 15 minutes remaining in this game. It's a 0-0 tie. It is now 9:42 at night. I overheard some of the moms saying usually they're ready for bed at this point. Witherspoon on the draw. Nedry, Boylan on the wings. Chapman, Helfrich backing her up. Little scramble out there right at the face-off dot. They try to work that up. They chip it down low again. The girls are getting their miles in tonight. Chapman from behind the net. Over to Nedry. Nedry works that thing out of the zone. Tries to work it up to Witherspoon. Witherspoon almost gets it around one. Witherspoon along the sideboards. It's still in the zone. Nedry fights in. Nedry tries to work it out to Boylan. Boylan chips that on net. They get a quick freeze. 14:24 remaining. Maybe I was on the camera on that one. Sorry if I was. Oh God. I could have been. Try to stand behind it. Mallory on the draw. Cohen grabs that one. Cohen walks around, looking for an angle. Over to Helfrich. Helfrich fires. That hits some traffic. Newcomb chasing it down. It comes out to the point. Ooh, Helfrich just barely keeps that in. Actually, we had one official called off, the other called clear. 14:07 left. Third period here. Tonka Blue is keeping it tight. It's a 0-0 game. Mallory on the draw. That gets worked back into the zone. They try to chip that out. Newcomb says, not on my watch. Chips it down low to Cohen. Cohen from behind the net. Cohen working around. Sees an opportunity. Tries to load up Mal. They had somebody just coming through on their knees through the slot. Mal over the top of the circle. Long shot. Just misses wide. Newcomb down low. Over to Cohen. Cohen battling. Newcomb and Cohen battling behind the net. Mallory jumps into the fray on the far side. Mallory lifts the stick to get a hold of that puck. They try to get that thing out. They do. Chapman's there to create trouble, though. Chapman fights back. Chapman over to Helfrich. Helfrich up to Mallory. Mallory in all alone. Literally 5-on-1 again. They try to get that thing out. They're looking for a cross-ice pass. Oh, maybe not. It's right there, Mal. Amy's getting some action from a skipper forward. Ballard tries to get it out. Long shot. Lex gloves that easily. Let's get organized here. Quick breakout. 13:58 left. Let's get up by 1, 2, 3 in the next 2 minutes. Sauter on the draw. Sauter battles for that one. Gets up to Ballard. Ballard chips that thing forward. Boylan is in a foot race. She's got somebody helping out. Boylan tries to work it up. Ooh, they get a stick on that. Sauter's there. Sauter works it over to Levy. Levy tries to work it towards the net. Boylan's there. Chips it again off her backhand. Good race to the puck. One there. Now Ballard's got it. Ballard wheels out of the corner. Dealing. Ballard's looking for an opportunity. Tries to work it over to Levy. That it gets interrupted, but Levy tries to fight it down to Boylan. Ballard now along the near side boards. That one just springs loose. Weird bounces here, folks. Sweetser out to the point. Chips that thing down low. Again, they just fire it out of the zone. Sweetser over to Levy. Levy dangles around. Levy up to Nedry. Nedry dangles through one set of feet. Cohen's now on the ice, now on the far side. Levy gloves that down. Kicks it forward to herself. Good athletic move there. It's down in the far corner. Tonka's just firing this thing out of the zone. Cohen chips it down low. Long cross-ice pass available. She gets a stick on that, but Helfrich with speed, incredible speed. Helfrich wheels back. Rips it around to Cohen. Cohen tries to work it up to Nedry. Nedry it gets a little interfered with, but Nedry with speed goes flying in. Again, that cross-ice pass. There they go. Helfrich is back to collect. We just saw this play a minute ago. Right in front of us from left to right. Helfrich sees a lane. Is skating all the way down. Let's go, Helfrich. She's got Nedry helping her out. 11 minutes and 7 seconds left. That one just zips over to the far side. Boylan activates, try to create some trouble for them. Oh, she did, but just, again, weird bounces. Let's hope there are no more weird bounces. I don't want to say that again. That's an icing on them. Let's go. I'll take it every time. Newcomb, Boylan, and Mal are your forwards, backed up by Helfrich and Amy. We got 10:52 left. It's a 0-0 game. Minnetonka blue. Goes over to the far side. Boylan's there to help out. That gets worked out to the point. Amy thinks better of it. That got to the net on that one. Boylan working hard on the near side boards. Mallory comes out over to help out. Mallory comes out of the pile with that one. Big pile. Mallory tries to come up with that again. Boylan again is there to help. Create some interference. Mallory works towards the zone. That should have been a hook. Wasn't. It's been a pretty clean game so far. I'll admit that. Here we go. They trip over something. Newcomb gets tripped up by a stick. Boylan jumps into the play to try to help out there. Newcomb and Boylan working out of the corner. Newcomb loads up Mal. Mal fires. Almost in. Amy down to Newcomb in the corner. Newcomb loses the handle on that one. That one gets worked out to Amy again at the point. Fighting. We're absolutely fighting to try to get a goal here. 10 minutes remaining. They try to zip that down. That's going to be on net, so that is not going to be a icing. Boylan goes for a change. Cohen jumps out. Ooh, we try to hit that in stride. No dice. Tonka with 9 minutes and 45 seconds left. Feels a little bit of life here at the Pagel Ice Activity Center. Cohen pulls that off the boards. Starts building speed as she's working down. Ballard and Cohen entering the zone. They get a stick on that. Cohen battling behind the net. Works up. Tries to load up somebody. Cohen chips that thing down low. They ice it. That is the next ice here. I think that's the 12th icing. I actually haven't been keeping track. 9 minutes, 16 seconds left. Chapman and Levy at the back. Ballard, Cohen, Sauter on the draw. Win that one forward. Good battle, trying to keep that thing in on the far side. Good job, Chapman. We're still battling. They just fling it out. That should be an icing. That is the 13th icing we've seen. Here we go. Over on the left side, you got Witherspoon, Nedry, Boylan. Backed up by Sweetser and Amy. Witherspoon on the draw. Witherspoon tries to wins that thing back, kind of. Nedry's there to help out. Nedry does a great job jumping on that. Nedry tries to work it down low. She's dancing. She's got all sorts of traffic. Witherspoon goes in to help. Dangles around one. Tries to think about it. They get a stick on that thing. They work it back up to Witherspoon. Witherspoon chips it to herself. Tries to create some room. Works it over to Boylan. Boylan tries to load that thing up. They just barely got a stick on that. Boylan in the corner again. Back over to Witherspoon. Excuse me, Nedry. Witherspoon's there. Boylan, Witherspoon. That's a goal. Let's go. Needed that one. I don't know who got it, but here's the deal. I don't care who got it because that was teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. It was passing around the outside. I think Witherspoon may have gotten a stick on it after it went behind the net to Nedry. Nedry loaded up Witherspoon. Witherspoon chipped it forward, and then Boylan got an opportunity to backhand it in. That makes it 1-0. Your Edina Hornets are leading with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left in this contest. Amy chases back to grab that one. Amy over to Newcomb. That one, great job, Newcomb, just chipping that by. Okay. This is where we could use a backbreaker goal. Just another one quick. Massive shot by Amy. Let's go. I thought I was going to predict the future there for a minute. We change out our D, so now we got Chapman and Helfrich on the backside. Cohen, Newcomb, Mal on the front. Cohen comes out of the corner, looks, fires, goal. 7 minutes and 58 seconds left. The Hornets now lead 2-0. After the let's now turn it up. Mallory on the draw. Got Newcomb and Cohen helping out. Back to Chapman. Chapman over to Helfrich. Helfrich sees Mal. Mal tries to chip it forward. They just barely get a stick on that thing. Chapman collects, reaches that red line, flings it into the zone. They shoot it back out. Chapman retreats into our own zone, picks that thing up. D to D. Helfrich up to Cohen. Cohen gets that red line. Wisely just chips that thing forward. About half a period remains here. Helfrich on the far side. Good job. She sensed a line change happening. Helfrich in. She's got a little bit of help from Boylan hanging out in the slot, trying to be quiet. Ballard jumps onto the ice, catches a pass just as she gets across the blue. Here comes the Skippers trying to ice that thing yet again. Levy runs back to retrieve that thing. Levy up to Boylan. Just misfired on that one. Oh no. Here come the Skippers. Up to Ballard. Boylan and Sauter in. Sauter tries to lead for Boylan. Boylan fires. Oh, it was a pretty play. Great idea, Ella Sauter. Nice shot, Nora. Now we're back in our zone. Boylan just chips that one out and goes for a quick change. Good idea. Cohen jumps on the ice, immediately swats at that puck. Great stick. Claire Sweetser. That gets thrown down low. Levy retreats back to get it. We have a 2-0 game. Edina leads against Minnetonka Blue here with about 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Cohen, far side. Works it over to Witherspoon. Nedry, Witherspoon. That's another goal. 3-0 now. Cohen to Witherspoon to Nedry. Boom, boom, boom. 3-0 game. 5 minutes and 41 seconds remaining. That feels more comfortable. Witherspoon wins that back. Cohen. We retreat out of the zone because we had a little mess up on the zone entry. Witherspoon gets taken out at center ice. No call there. Nedry. Nedry's on fire with her stick. Witherspoon jumps that pass, trying to cut it all the way across. 5 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Nedry, again, all action tonight. Helfrich looks, loads up Witherspoon at the red. Ooh. Nedry sees Boylan. Nice pass, Nedry. Boylan tries to dangle. Kind of misses on that one. Mal just throws her body in front of that one. We got some action working around here. Trying to get that thing loose. Newcomb retreats into our zone. 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Newcomb from behind the net. Up to Mal. Mal works around one defender. She's zooming in. Fires. Ooh, misses on the far side. That gets all the way out of our zone. Levy back to Amy. Amy up to Newcomb. There's a battle along the boards there. Amy tries to keep that thing in. Wisely keeps it low. 4 minutes and 2 seconds now. Here come the Skippers trying to create some offense. Our forwards go for a quick change. Here come the Skippers coming back in. Little battle around there. Levy Works it up the sideboards to Cohen. Cohen's got 2 attackers on her. Levy retrieves again. Cohen works it behind the net. Amy takes a look at her options. Thinks Sauter's the right one. Sauter up to Cohen. Cohen grabs that thing. Tries to work around the outside. Does. Oh! Just barely can't get that one in. Sauter retrieves it at the blue line. Tossed it back down towards Cohen. Cohen and Sauter battling along the near side boards. That barely gets chipped out. Here comes Chapman. Chapman retreats out of the zone. The skipper's jumping that thing. Cohen. There we go. Got that thing out. The skippers are still in this, I think, in their minds. It's a 3-0 game. Sauter. Ooh, out to their point. Long shot. Sauter. Battles for that one. Now Chapman's in the corner. Chapman over to Levy. Levy works out of the zone. Levy trying to go all alone. Too much traffic there. That one gets thrown in. Boylan's the lone forward giving chase. Boylan comes up with that. Ooh. That's a clean check, actually. It looked bigger. It looked like it was about to be big, but I think everybody played pretty cleanly there. Witherspoon jumps on that. Witherspoon around the top of the circle. Leaves for a point. Sweetser. Steps. Fires. There's a rebound there. Witherspoon's there. Still in skates. Still loose. Boylan's arguing her case. 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining in this third period. You got Nedry, Boylan, and Witherspoon out there. If this were a consistent line, I would call them the pesky line. The pests. They are annoying to the other team, and they all hustle. That's Witherspoon feeds it over to Boylan. Boylan looks, fires, goal. 4-0. With 1 minute and 53 seconds remaining. I think that's Witherspoon's 3rd assist on the night, if they're keeping track of things accurately. Witherspoon on the draw. She wins that one back again. You know, I know that I don't have a stat book. Long shot knocked aside. Amy gets back to collect that one. Amy wheels from behind her zone, or behind her net, sees some space, goes for it. Wow, lots of traffic there. Good battle along the blue right there, keeping it in. Further battle. It's down low now. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in this contest. Boylan goes back, creates some trouble. I said it was a pesky line. They're annoying. Boylan heads to the bench. Nedry, Witherspoon remain out there. Cohen jumps out now to help out. 1 minute remaining in the third period. That one gets tossed out. Could have been an icing, but Amy got a stick on it. Cohen right in the... tries to load up Mal. Oh, they just barely get that out of the zone. Here we go. Newcomb is out there. Works it in. She's got Mal in the slot. Works it over to Mal. Mal fires. That one just sails high. 35 seconds remaining. Mal working down low. Newcomb. That one gets tossed up the sideboards. Tonka tries to get that thing out. 25 seconds remaining. It's a 4-0 game. Ooh, a 2-1 for Tonka late in this game. 20 seconds remaining. They knocked that one aside. 15 seconds remaining. Tonka is still fighting to try to get one into the net here. It's a 4-0 game. Amy retreats behind our net. Burning clock. Good idea. Newcomb up to Mallory. Mallory crosses that red, chips it forward. 2 seconds, and that's the game, folks. It was a very good contest. Their goalie played amazing. Our girls weren't as crisp as they typically are, but I think that we'll walk out of here with a 4-0 victory. Anytime you leave Pago with a win, it feels good.